We all understand the fact that the market will surprise you. And that understanding in itself gives you some room for excellence because now you're trying to be prepared. The SI family is obviously prepared. If you do look at what the price action was doing in the recent past, at that local bottom, 67,500, just below that level, I shared this thought process saying this is now completing the downside. Then the price action continued, pushed up higher, $1,000 up. We had our thought process, again, repeatedly the same. And in Bitcoin, a week back, we shared this. We're expecting it to go up. We're expecting it to come back down to this level and then bounce off. So the charts are showing you the surprise factor is still there. The charts are showing you some of these assets are going through like nuts phase. The problem is most of us don't realize it. And you won't unless you go back to where you came from. Say, when this asset was like 200, 250, we shared this same thought process. Look, this is happening. It's about to go higher. This is going to happen. Now that's when Jan. So in a couple of months, you reached here. The price is above that now. So Jan, we shared this. Feb, we talked you guys through this setup. So right now you see that the price is already there. So what changed? You got a huge volume candle pushing the price up. And if you go back in history, you see something. And this is exactly what's happening with Ether as well. The moment you go into the altcoin market, the Ether, the XRP, the individual assets, and its analysis, now you're going to get something big. But the problem is news, the news cycle, the current affairs, that creates a lot of cloud. That creates a lot of panic in the market. But this should not be forgotten. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys get to learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. See, when the price was here at 250, I shared this thought process. This is December, right? Saying this is breaking higher. The RSI is showing you the price is going to go up and showing you the local targets. So this is December, this is Jan, this is Feb, and this is right now. What can you see? I mean, this is one of the reasons why the SI family has been growing this fast. Because we've been consistent about what the market is doing, and the way we explain things was giving you guys the real idea of what the market is doing. So if you are there and you're looking at the market and you're confused about what it's doing, join the SI family where 1,000+ members are readily taking benefit of all of this happening there. Now, with the recent fluctuation, if you are confused about the micro movement, we were well aware about the price showing the possibility of a bounce back. I mean, I think I even talked about it. Yeah, I even put that layer of information there saying I'm looking for this kind of a move in the market. Let's look at the market itself. We're getting close to 70. We are trying to flirt with that level. I mean, whales will try this. Whales will do this. Why wouldn't they? If you are a whale and you want to make more money, you know that the other whales and financial institutions have a lot more money than you and systems. So most likely you're not trying to compete with them. Your primary focus is on the retail, how to keep them in and loot them. So if you are in the price structure, you need to look clearly for any signals which the market is giving you. Say this is BNB. We use this as an example to ride the alt market as well. Because the moment you are looking at BNB, you're understanding more people are interested in that exchange, in that token. So more and more people are coming into the market, they're taking on these. So if you do look at this on a macro, what you can see is the double bottom kind of thing. If you are that pattern guy, if you are the Wyckoff guy, you're saying this is the accumulation. This was the Wyckoff Creek. You had this movement. You broke to the upside. Perfect. So whether you like that one structure or not, you're interested in the upside. And when the price is doing something like this, I'm a little bit confused about where we are. Maybe here, maybe here. But if you do look at how high these coins have gone before they made such a structure, that now makes a lot of sense. That was close to the all-time highs. And this was in 2020, 2021. Great. Now here we are getting super close to the all-time highs in BNB, and it's now doing this kind of a structure. So if we are here, we have this leg. If we are here, we have this leg. In both cases, the price is going to go to the upside. And a lot of people in the market are not prepared for such a scenario. Then you come down, you look at what the market is doing. Say, for example, you take on Bitcoin. You're watching like the price is flirting with that level of $70,000. And some are confused. Are we going down? Are we not going down? Can we go higher? I mean, this is something we've been looking at for the recent past. We've been talking you guys through that. Now, say you're not that price structure guy. Clear that off. Look for a trend line which you see, which at least looks valid for you, right? You can reduce the noise, put it on a line chart, try to connect as much points as possible. And you kind of get to see, okay, that still makes some sense. You had the trend line here. It showed you we have a pattern. We got the breakout. We came back down to retest. Now it's trying to bounce off. So the moment you see the price breaking this level, on this setup, the short term, the micro, you're watching for something like this. Cool, right? You understand that's going to come your way and you want to take benefit of this kind of a run up. You don't want to miss such a movement in the market. Agreed? Now, you come back to the candlestick, you can use one of the easiest tools in the market. Go either on a 3-day or a macro and use a Heikin-Ashi chart. Follow the momentum. Or put on a Ranko chart, follow the momentum. These gives you a lot more clearer data without much of a market noise. So if you are that guy who does not have that level of patience, forget this. You cannot use these tools. But if you do have a bit of discipline and patience, these tools are waiting for you. Now, especially Ranko is price sensitive, not time sensitive. It does not care about time and it gives you clear price ranges. So you can actually see the price is still trending to the upside. You can go on a daily and you're like, okay, we had that downtime, but now we have the upward moment. So that shows maybe we are here. Maybe we are here. Maybe you're here. But in all of those cases, you have some more upside. So those who are talking about a major downside coming right now, most likely is going to be surprised. And I'm not saying this. I'm just showing what the chart is showing you. Maybe I'm wrong with my thought process, but I think the market is showing you what it is showing you. So the moment you actually go onto the Heikin-Ashi, you still look at the market in the same way. Like, okay, we haven't actually turned green here on the Heikin-Ashi. The charts, the indicators are trying to go up, but we haven't done that. We need a breakout. Fine. You go on a 3-day, look at that direction. You go on a weekly, look at that direction. And that kind of shares some clear perspective, right? We had this kind of a range, but we went up. We had this kind of a range, which tilted to the downside, and then you went down. But the range was so clear. Now, if that's happening in the price action, the surprise factor should not be neglected. And that's what we have seen in all of these instances. Now, let's look at Ether, because this kind of rhymes with the altcoin market. This is a daily chart on Ether, and the daily chart shows you the recent past. The cross in MACD, the price action looks good. You see the price going below the moving average, trying to struggle, go back up, but then it breaks to the upside, retests that, and continues that ride. So we are kind of getting something similar. So say that's a lot of noise for you, and you don't want that amount of noise. Go on to a monthly chart and look where we are. The RSI, the MACD, the volume, and the price action itself. That says a lot about where we are in the market cycle. The moment you come on a weekly, you get to see a bit more detail. You're still in the overbought territory, and while you remain in this overbought territory, what do you see? I mean, go back in history, each and every time when you are there in that zone. Even if you are going down and bouncing, going down still, you see the price is still going up. Why? That's an area where a lot of people get confused. And I see this. Often I say this in one-on-one sessions. When I go try educate you guys with your own portfolio and your own assets, we share this thought process. Think about it. When the RSI is overbought, that means buyers are now through the roof. The room is full of buyers. You don't have that amount of sellers. So what do you expect the price to do? Go to the downside? No, right? So that's the same story. Now, that's on a weekly. So the direction is to the upside. You go on a 3-day. Are we going back into the overbought territory? Interesting. Then you go on a daily. You want to see like, okay, are we going to go back into that territory? If it does, that's literally showing you the upside is coming. The next leg is starting, right? Now we go on to XRP. It's really interesting. You're talking about the same rules, but the problem is this asset is way, way more manipulated than any other assets because it shows you the same signals just like the others and it fakes you out. That's bad. I mean, as a trader, it's bad. But if you're a long-term guy, you're like, I don't care. All that I'm looking about, all that I care about in this asset is, am I trending to the upside? Am I trending to the downside? That matters a lot. That matters a lot. The moment you go on to the monthly, you're like, okay, let me look at the last few monthly candle close. Not where we are now in the market, because it does show you it's just small fluctuation. But if you do look at this, you'll have to put the argument that this breakout seems to be legit. You're still holding on to this mother candle. Great. Now we slowly zoom in. You go on to the weekly and you're like, okay, this particular guy, this one candle, that's still the price range. We haven't invalidated that to the downside or to the upside. Now the direction of that candle is to the upside. It broke to the upside, which clearly shows you the fact that the amount of market participants who are interested in one direction is super high. And that is one of the reasons why you're still holding onto this level of breakout. Say you want to zoom in. You go onto a 3-day chart. You're watching the market. It is in the positive zone. If you want to know the next day fluctuation, you're going on to the daily. And you're like, okay, the daily is clearly positive. I mean, some people come here and in the comment section, they actually drop it like, you're saying the same thing. I'm like, if the chart is showing you the same thing, what else you expect me to say? Just speculate on it? I mean, I'm trying to give you the data which the market is showing you. See, it's like a translator, right? You go to Germany and you don't know German. Someone is helping you with the language. That's it. So learn this language of the land of candlesticks and you read the charts well. So now, the MACD is trying to cross back to the upside. You can see what happened last time when we crossed to the upside. You can see what happened before that when we crossed to the upside. That was your local bottom, you went up. That was your local bottom, you went up. Now you're above the pattern as well. So each and every time when you go back, 4 out of 5 times, if you see that the price is going to the upside, after all this drama, then would you bet against it or would you bet in that part? Now, the problem is going levered on XRP is troubling, guys. It is going to do as much manipulative moves as possible, and especially in the first week to 10 days of a month. New supply comes in, it gets absorbed back. There's a lot of those movements, which would be again diluting the market. at least for those time. I would like to see this guy breaking higher through this around 10th to 15th of a month, which would give me another 15 days of great run to the upside. Now, some people would ask, okay, is that all you need? I'm like, okay, this guy actually shows you its history is something like that. When this particular guy runs to the upside, all that it takes is like 16 to 20 days. Sometimes he had 21 days, right? But each leg you have seen this guy doing that break to the upside from 20 to 28 days. That's good. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that's it. You get to absorb most of it. So the moment you see the price going up like this, you have to ask, okay, from that breakout, how long did it take? So you kind of get to see what the price is doing. Now, this is not only in XRP in 2021. The moment you go back, all the way, as long as you want, right? You can go back and look at like how long it actually took this asset to ride through one particular wave. And then you understand, okay, the max it has done is literally 3 months. And now you take more exposure, more noise into the market. And you get to see the fact that, okay, you run up and then you're slow. You run up and then you're slow. So each and every time in its own history from 2014, if it's doing that, why would we expect something different? Now, if you are a spot holder of this asset, you really don't care about the micro fluctuation. But you do care about what the market is doing, because that's the direction it is also going to follow. The FUD against, now, it's not FUD, but it should be FUD. I think SEC at this point does not have much of a value, much of a authenticity based on what they're doing as a regulator. But here we can see that now they're going against Uniswap. I mean, it's a decentralized exchange. Guys, notice something. You have idiots in the world running the regulator, one of the biggest regulator of one of the biggest countries in the planet. Someone need to shut that down. It looks really, really bad. I mean, in front of the world, when they look at it, they are like, how crazy are you, right? So now for the bull market side, this is really great. When this guy comes out and says it's going to go down, that means most likely he wants people to sell, which means obviously the funders, the big guys, the big money, they want to buy. So that's when they say you sell it. Now, if you look at this, say Solana, it doesn't look good. We agree on that. We agree on that. But the thought process is, when the market is still trending to the upside, can that particular asset go to the downside? So first, you need to look through that particular asset and what the market is showing. Now, I remember calling this, now, micro trade opportunities can be there. Macro is what direction you should choose, right? I always say this. So if the macro is showing you this, which is a negative divergence, go back in the past, look at when it showed you some negative divergence on the same horizon. Say the better way would be a weekly. You take this, you come up here and you're like, okay, weekly we have a negative divergence here. And the next time we had, before this, the last time, it was kind of this area. It continued grinding to the upside, but the moment it started dropping, the drop was a decent fluctuation of 70% down. But it still continued to go to the upside. Why? Because the price action was still trending. You got a micro divergence, but not a macro. The macro divergence came in here. And that was close to the top. Yes, there was one fluctuation which was like get in and then get killed, right? So maybe the price is going to do that leg, inviting everyone into that and then dropping back. Now that kind of aligns with what we have been talking about Bitcoin, right? So it's not only the price action saying, it's not only the news and FA saying, it's the fundamentals. Remember, if you were in the market back then, in this time around, you had a lot of issues in this network. November, December, it was bad. And even during this time, you had those, which was bad. I mean, so if you are looking at a network in scalability, in trustworthiness and all, this doesn't look trustworthy in that sense. They went through the entire bear market, and what the hell were they doing? They should have been working well with the network, right? Now, keep all of that out. Look at where exactly you got the selling volume maximum. This. That was a local top. What happened next was a fake run. What's happening here? I mean, that's interesting to look at. That's the market you're looking at, not my opinion, right? So the selling just went maximum. Someone knew something and they sold. And that's way, way, way bigger than what you have seen in the 2021 run-up as well. So some of these assets, you need to be extremely, extremely careful. Say, this is an AI asset. I mean, I have nothing against this asset. Even at this point, it is showing you the price is still trending higher. The weekly is okay, it's good. But even if you're bullish on this asset, you didn't get the retest here. If you say, I'm a perma bull, it's going to go up, and you're a pattern guy, you're looking at that. If you're a trend-based guy, you're looking at this. In both angle, there should be a retracement. And that retracement looks big, 70% down. I mean, it's not a small move. And you go on a 3-day chart, and the 3-day chart shows you, there is a divergence playing out here. Price is going up, RSI is going down. MACD is showing I'm going to cross to the downside. It's interesting, right? So some of these assets, which have already done extremely well in the recent past, is starting to show you there is going to be one correction incoming. And that incoming correction is most likely showing you much deeper than usual correction. So imagine these altcoins have a 70% down. What would you think about Bitcoin? So should Bitcoin do a 20% downside so that these assets drop 70? Or should Bitcoin drop 40, 50%? You can answer that yourself and drop me in the comment section, whatever you think. If you think it's going to be just 10% drop in Bitcoin and these assets are going to be in their pants, fine. But if you think it's going to do a 50%, great. But remember, that argument should make sense on the price as well. Because if you put the argument saying it's going to drop 50%, what you're saying is it's going to come back down to 35,000, right? So you have to think, maybe it's 30%, right? You're looking at the weekly candle and saying it should come down. If you're looking at the monthly and saying it's going to come down, yeah, you're correct, 50%. But most likely, at first, it would be the weekly candle. And then we'll look at the monthly. Because we need to develop a negative divergence before we go into this bear scenario. We haven't done that here yet. I'm still waiting. I've been waiting for a few months here to see that coming in, because that's when altcoins explode. So in between, when this guy drops, alt markets suffer. So that's one of the reasons why I try to educate you guys as much as possible with the micro movement, with the macro movement. Way before anyone else talk about it, we do talk about it. So if you are using this information and you think it's valuable, smash that like button. And if you want to join the SI family to get these calls, my trades, the benefits of one-on-one session, readjusting your portfolio, look at the SI family. The link is in the description below in YouTube or in the bio on Twitter. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.